Hello, and thank you for tuning in to What's Happening with Hope Hillcum. Today, I get to meet with a representative from Company Q. This is an episode you don't want to miss.
Growing up in a small conservative town was no easy feat for a queen like me, but the rejection I faced in my youth was turned into motivation. A lot of different people and experiences have made me the person I am today, and I hope this show can be a platform for other LGBTQ family members to tell their stories while indulging in some drag queen fun. That's why I've created What's Happening with Hope Hillcum.
Alright, today I have Theo Meacham here to talk about Company Q. How are you doing, Theo?
I am wonderful.
How
are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Just, sweating a little bit under this wig. You know how that goes.
I do.
I'm sure in theater because, y'all wear, wigs and all this makeup, so you really know, the pain and the struggle.
Absolutely.
I get it ready. So, tell me, where are you from? How did you get involved with Company Q? And what do you do outside of your involvement with Company Q?
So I'm from Kentucky originally,
okay.
And I've lived all over the Eastern Seaboard, D.C., Florida, Virginia, all over as a professional theater artist for about 15 years.
Great.
But I've always felt drawn back to Kentucky because it's where I'm from, it's where I was raised.
So where you're from originally?
Yep, I was from Bowling Green. I was born here in Lexington.
Oh, okay.
But raised in Bowling Green.
So there was a calling to come back.
There was. It holds a very special place in my heart.
Well, right. The bluegrass,
Exactly. It's home. So I worked professionally all over. I did a lot of theater for young audiences work while doing queer advocacy work in my free time.
Great.
An opportunity came up to start a theater company for queer and allied teens and trans teens, and it seemed like a really natural marriage of both my profession and my interests. So that started, and we have had a wonderful time so far. During the process, I've left working professionally in theater, and so now Company Q is my theater outlet. It is what I do. It's what I do with all my free time, and I have a very dull professional job.
Okay.
I work in a cube.
Okay. And then, so, do you do anything else outside of, at Company Q?
I do.
Fun activities?
I do. I am the vice president of the board of directors for the Pride Community Services Organization, PCSO, here in town.
Yes.
I am co-chair of the logistics for the Lexington Pride Festival.
Great.
And I'm the governance officer for the Pride Youth Theater Alliance, which is an international alliance for people who do work with queer youth and trans youth and allied youth.
Great. That's awesome. That's so cool to hear.
Keep me busy.
So I've heard a lot of things about Company Q, but can you please tell those who may not know what Company Q is and just give a brief description?
Absolutely. So Company Q exists to be a safe space for queer, trans, and allied teens to explore their lives through art. So what that means, that's our mission statement. What that means is that we get together, we talk about relevant issues, we work on skill building and ensemble building in terms of theater skills.
Right.
But then our big focus is exploring relevant issues and turning them into a show. So we put on a play every year. We also do some special projects, but our main focus is our spring play, where we put together what matters to teens, because teens, of all identities, but especially queer, trans, and allied teens, don't have much of a voice in the professional theater setting or just in general. And so we try to provide that space.
Right. Awesome. So when is the spring play that you were telling me about?
It's in June.
It's in June? Okay.
It is the first weekend in June.
First weekend of June. Great.
It'll be at the library in the Farish Theater.
Okay, great.
And it is everything we do is free of charge. We accept donations graciously. But we do everything pay what you can so that there's never a barrier between the youth who want to participate or family, friends, community members. We want to make sure we're accessible to anybody who needs to come.
Right, and come and observe.
Exactly.
Awesome. Now you're saying that this is an outlet of art. So is this like these youth taking their experiences and then shaping them into a unique play, or like a play that they make themselves?
Exactly, yes.
That's awesome.
We're in our 4th season now. Our first season, we were still figuring ourselves out, so we did a show that used pieces already written by other queer youth theater companies, and a couple pieces we wrote. We wrote our second year. last year we did a beautiful piece. The young people wanted to talk about suicide. That was what was important to them.
That's fantastic.
So
because it's such a huge issue.
Exactly.
Especially in the LGBTQ arena.
It seems like every time you log onto Facebook, there's a new Rest in Power for another young person who has tragically taken their life.
Right.
And so that was what was important to them. They needed to explore that. So we, one of the young men in our organization brought in a beautiful piece that kind of examined the before and the after of suicide, and we had to know more about it. We had to know what this person's life was like.
Right.
So we wrote an amazing show. It's still on YouTube. If you search Company Q Ripples, you can watch it. Just skip the first half hour. We live streamed it. So the first half hour is the audience sitting down. But we were really proud of that work. So this year, we are currently writing our piece. It looks like we're going to take a different direction. We're kind of going dystopian future. Working with intersectionality, because that's what the kids really wanted to focus on this year, is how you reconcile or work with the different parts of yourself and how they all fit together.
Awesome. That sounds like it would be a really good show.
We're excited.
That's fantastic. So now you're the co-director of Company Q.
I am.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you do in that position? And I mean, it could be like just even one of the things, like maybe you run and get coffee, or like you run the cameras, or the lights, or tell us a little bit what you do.
I view my role very much as facilitation.
Okay.
I try to structure conversations. I try to do some very basic lesson plans to see where we sort of need to fit in with each meeting. I run the Facebook page, and I order pizza. That's a lot of what I do.
Well, that's a very important job. I'm sure for those kids that's a super important job. So, what's the most rewarding experience that you say that you had working with Company Q? And do you have any fun stories that you like to share?
Sure. One of my favorites comes from actually our very first year. There was a young woman in our troupe who, on her audition essay, we do auditions just to formalize our ensemble, but anybody who wants to join is always welcome. But on her audition essay, she wrote about how she is a Republican and is a cisgender straight young woman. And a lot of people were questioning why she wanted to be involved with the group. But she wanted to learn more about people and learn how to love everyone better. And she said she didn't have a political opinion on gay rights or gay liberation yet, but she was expecting she'd probably end up with one, but she felt she needed to know more about people before she could form that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's so, that's just so forward-thinking of her. I don't know, that sounds like somebody of, years, among their youth, somebody that really wants to be able to explore something before they make their final decision. And I think that people need to learn from that. That's fantastic.
It's amazing. And now she's a junior in college and is a fierce advocate for everyone. And it's really cool to have seen her progress.
That's great. And what's her major?
Psychology.
Psychology. Great, great. And I bet that had to play a role with the stuff that you were doing there, especially exploring everything that you do.
That's great.
So what are some of the goals that Company Q has for its future? When it starts to grow, and I'm sure you guys are doing fantastic now, but I feel like everybody has goals.
Absolutely. We would love to grow to do 2 shows a year if possible.
Oh wow.
That's a few years down the line. We would love to have a playwriting festival, and we really want to reach more areas. We've done a little bit of work in Frankfurt. I've done a tiny bit of work, meetings with folks in Indiana, but would love to expand regionally. And because we are the only theater of our kind in the area.
Right.
So we'd love to reach as many youth as possible, maybe do our spring show here and do our fall show out in eastern Kentucky, maybe in Moorhead, something like that.
Fantastic. Yeah. That's actually really funny. I was actually just out in Moorhead doing a research project because I'm a master's student in College of Public Health. So I was doing some data collection out there, and it's funny. You read these sociology papers from. I actually read the sociology paper by Swank. He works at Moorhead, but he talks about the stigma of LGBTQ. That live, especially around Moorhead, because that's where he's from. And it's really funny because I think a group like this could really help, spark that liberation that these youth may need, to feel that acceptance. So I think that's a fantastic goal. So how do people watching this interview get involved with Company Q?
Sure. A couple of ways. We are primarily ages 14 through 22. However, we don't turn anyone away. If you want to get involved, we will absolutely find a place or a role for you. So our email address is companyqlexington, all one word, companyqlexington@gmail.com. It comes right to me. I'll answer it. We meet every Monday at the Pride Community Services Organization Pride Center on Waller Avenue from 6:30 to 8:30. We are still early in our season, so we're writing our show, but if anyone wants to come join us, they would be very welcome.
Great.
So we do a little bit of writing, and then we'll start rehearsing soon. And, even if you don't think you're a person who wants to be on stage, even if you whatever, we will find a place because the dialogues spark the show.
Right.
So those are the two main ways. We do have a Facebook page. It's Facebook/CompanyQ Lexington.
Facebook/Company Q Lexington. Okay, perfect. And that's easy enough.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the name. Perfect. So, volunteer-wise, so what kind of volunteers? If you're outside of that 14 to 22, and maybe you don't want to, per se, get involved with the actual, show, what are some of the things that people can do to volunteer?
There's always fundraising opportunities as well as media relations or advertising. We need people to hang up posters. We need people to design posters. Because all of us who work for Company Q, we're all volunteers. We have no full-time employees. So we have 4 co-directors right now, and we all have full-time jobs outside. So everything we do fits into outside of our 9 to 5 and sometimes more jobs.
Right.
So anyone to hang up posters, anyone to help find props, that sort of thing, always valuable.
Yeah, I'm sure with, putting on such a large, grandiose show and, y'all have jobs outside of what you're doing, that it really does take a lot of time.
It does, but it's a labor of love.
Right. We love what we're doing, else, we wouldn't be doing
Exactly.
it. And y'all are doing something for such a good cause that it makes it so worth it.
Right.
So, do you have any fun events, other than your play in June that you're going to be doing, that you'd like to plug, maybe?
Right now, the June play is our big event.
Okay.
That's all we have.
Any
on the horizon.
fundraising events?
We'll start our annual campaign after that show. Yeah.
After that show? Perfect. Well, we will make sure that we get that somewhere. Great. And then you said your Facebook page, and do you have any Instagrams or maybe
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Maybe that's in the future. Another future goal.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And then so when people come to watch this show, what do you want them to walk away with after they're done watching the show?
I think a lot of it depends on which show. Last year we wanted a more solemn sense of empowerment, but also reflection. And I don't know what this year will be because we don't have the show quite written yet. But
Right.
on a broader sense, I want it to be a sense of power in the voices of young people and in the experience of queer, trans, and allied young lives.
Mm-hmm.
And what an amazing impact that can have on the community and the world as a whole.
Great. Now, after the performance happens, do you all have a follow-up, afterwards, that somebody comes up to the front and they...
A talkback.
Yes, a talkback. That's what it's called.
Yep, we do talkbacks after every performance.
Great.
One of the arms of our areas of interest is education. We think it's our job to educate the community as best as possible. So that is part of our goals. Is every performance we do, we have a talkback afterwards.
Great. And I know as somebody that I really like to go see plays, and I really do enjoy a talkback because it's really nice to have my own opinion about what I thought happened in the show, but be able to see other perspectives because I might have missed something. So I think that those things are really beneficial in people soaking up what was just put onto that stage, especially if it's a really hard topic.
Right.
So, and then, what is your personal favorite production and why?
Last year's show was amazing. It was called Ripples, and the impact it had on audiences was large. We also got a chance to perform for the Pride Youth Theater Alliance last year, so in terms of actual one-night performance, that was amazing. We're used to performing for friends, family, community members, that sort of thing. Company Q hosted the International Pride Youth Theater Alliance Festival last summer, and so we had artists and educators from all over the country, and youth from all over the country, here in Lexington for a long weekend of best practice sharing, that sort of thing, and we perform. So that was our first chance performing for an entire audience of queers, and it was such a different experience, because normally we're used to audiences who sit quietly and watch a show. These audiences were part of the show. They were on it. They were snapping along. Yes, mama.
Yeah. Yes.
It was wonderful.
So it's just like that constant encouragement, and I love that. Snapping that. Yes.
It was beautiful.
I'm so happy to hear that. That sounds fantastic. Are you all planning on doing that again this year, or?
The conference is in Memphis this year.
Oh, okay.
So some of us will be traveling down to Memphis for that, and we'll watch the Memphis troupe perform, which will be great to be part of seeing the work in an audience full of people who make the work.
Right, and I'm sure it's really encouraging, to have your local Lexington troupe, but to know that you have this national coalition going on, to know that that you're not this lonely spot, like on a whole continent, so I'm sure it's really reassuring and nice to have people to speak to.
It's amazing. Yeah, we a lot of times those of us who do the work feel a lot of isolation geographically, culturally, and all that. But to be able to pick up the phone and talk to Richmond, Virginia, or Waterville, Maine, or San Francisco, and all these other troops throughout the country is amazing. It's the Pride Youth Theater Alliance is absolutely phenomenal, and we love working with them and being a part of them.
Right. Now, do you think that being able to speak with all these other troops really helps help develop your troupe here at Lexington?
Absolutely. So to give a little background on Pride Youth Theater Alliance, to answer the question, the Pride Youth Theater Alliance started out through funding from a granting organization called the Mookie Fund, which is an amazing granting organization. Company Q started out through an incubator grant through the Mookie Fund and the Pride Youth Theater Alliance. So one of the existing theater companies, Pride Players, out of Omaha, Nebraska, invited us to apply for an incubator grant. And we applied before we even existed. So it was...
I know how that works. I mean, applying for research grants is kind of like the same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it was a grant in order to become a theater. So it was just started out with a couple of us who were like, this would be a cool thing to do. Let's get some money. Let's do it. It'll be great. Had no idea what we were doing. So we got the funding, and we joined the Pride Youth Theater Alliance. And for our first year, Brian Gehring, who is the director of the Pride Players in Omaha at the Rose Theater, he was our mentor. So we had weekly phone dates, monthly phone dates after a while, to talk about recruitment and structuring our show. Company Q wouldn't exist without the Pride Youth Theater Alliance, is the basic animal of that. And that incubator grant continued for a few years after, so it's an amazing way that the Alliance and that the Mookie grant was able to pop up theaters all over the country to do the work.
Right. So it sounds like they were very supportive and essential in helping you all set up your theaters.
Absolutely.
Do you know of any new theaters that are going to be popping up in the national conference somewhere in the United States?
Not this year.
Not this year?
Not this year. We don't have any new incubators coming in. We do have a couple who are in their second or third year. North Carolina has a group that is still developing and doing amazing work. We've got a group in Miami that's doing amazing work. So a lot of newer theaters, and actually the Memphis group is in their third year. So they just started out as well. So the Memphis group is now hosting the conference as a new theater.
Great, that's fantastic. That sounds like really just really cool. I'm trying to think what I want to say, and I'm just like, this is just super cool.
It was a visionary work that the grantors put together to create and nurture the field of queer youth theater. It was absolutely visionary.
Right. Now, you said that you did a little bit of professional work before that you came to Company Q and out here in Lexington. What was your favorite production being in that regard?
So I was a professional stage manager.
Oh, okay.
For years and years and years. I always loved doing the harder-hitting pieces, the things that were really intense and beautiful. There was a production I did with Lexington Children's Theater called The 100 Dresses. That was a play about bullying, and took place in the 1930s, 1938, I believe.
Wow.
So that was an amazing show. I really enjoyed the message of it. I really enjoyed the cast that we worked with, the directorial team. there was a lot of special stuff going on in that play. It was really cool.
Great. And I bet it's like, I've done theater in the past, so like coming from that, like it was just like a really cool team. Like the production. You can speak to this as well, but like the production is just as good as the cast members.
Oh,
if you don't feel like that connection with the people that are in your cast, like it just doesn't. The play just doesn't feel right. So it's good to know that you had that support while doing your work outside of just coming here.
Absolutely. I was very fortunate to work some amazing places. I worked at a wonderful place in Florida, a wonderful place in DC. Really great people who I've met along the way.
That's fantastic.
Really cool.
Do you have any LGBTQ theater celebrity role models? And if so, who and what do you like about them?
Sure. I tend to look up to playwrights a lot.
Okay.
Because I love the strength to say the whole thing. I think sometimes our society puts us away from saying things that need to be said.
Right.
So Kushner, I love Moses Kaufman from the Tectonic Theater Project. I'd say those are kind of the big ones.
Two of your big ones.
Yeah.
Great. I like to end. I really kind of want to end on like a lighter note.
Yeah,
so like,
absolutely.
So like just ask about like favorite celebrities and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was fantastic having you on. And it's nice to have all of these wonderful organizations from Lexington coming to meet with me to talk about what all the fantastic work y'all are doing, because without you guys, it's hard to get the visibility that the LGBTQ community deserves. So, this is just kind of like an ode to all the things that you do out here in Lexington. And for all the LGBTQ organizations in the country, it's really, and you know this, being part of the PCSO, you know how essential visibility is in our acceptance and our further growth in progression for our rights. So I just want to thank you so much for talking about this.